Organic chemistry is the chemistry of carbon containing compounds. It is the chemistry of carbon containing compounds. Okay. So previously, if I tell you, initially when they defined organic compounds, they didn't say the carbon containing compound. They said the compounds which are obtained from the living things, plants, animals, human beings, right? But later on, they figured it out. No, that's the limited kind of definition. So precisely they said any compound that contains carbon as an essential element is known as organic compound. If I just, for the sake of analogy, if I tell you, around us, anything which we eat, the food, the meal, is organic. Any medicine which we take is the organic. Any living thing, plants, animals, human beings, they are made up of organic compounds. So if you think of what we are going to study, we are going to study about the compounds which we are made up of, the animals are made up of, the plants are made up of, the food which we are eating every day, and the medicine which we are eating. They are the organic compounds. But once you define it, you say the compounds contain carbon as an essential element. So please write down compound containing carbon as an essential element. But still there are some exceptions. Still there are some exceptions, except carbon dioxide. You see it contains carbon, but it is not organic. Carbon monoxide contains carbon, but it's not organic. Carbonate contains carbon, but it's not organic. Hydrogen carbonate, it's not organic. Cyanides, it is not organic. So any compound which contains carbon as an essential element is organic, except these compounds. They contain carbon, but they are not organic. Okay? If I give you the examples of organic, CH4 is organic. C2H6 is organic. Yes, except these are the exceptions, right? I'll explain in a while. C3H8 organic, C2H6O organic, C2H4O2 organic, etc., etc. And they're not in hundreds and thousands; they are the millions of them. As I said, any food, any material which we eat, right? These are the examples. Before I start formally, I tell you two things which you have to put a star and write. Every carbon, I need your attention, please. Every carbon has to make 4 covalent bonds in organic compound. Every carbon has to make 4 covalent bonds, right? 4 arms carbon used to have in organic compound. And secondly, carbon makes long chain. 4 covalent bond. And secondly, carbon makes long chains like this. If there are 4 carbons, they make long chain like this. Okay? And every carbon is making how many? 4 covalent bonds. Right? Similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the number is, so they have to make 4 bonds. Can you reply this chat? What is this chat? So there are 5 carbon atoms. They make long chains, right? So this is what the organic compound is. So whenever now you think of organic compound, think of a chain. And your question also answered here. These compounds, although they contain carbon, but they do not have ability to make the long chains. That's why they're not organic, right? So these exceptions are there because in order to have organic compound, they must have ability to extend and make long chain. Carbon dioxide doesn't have this ability, or carbon monoxide or any other, right? So it's just like because of this property, they are not organic. Okay, right? So this is how the organic compounds are seen. Now let's start them formally. Before I start them, I would like to give you a classification of organic compound. Please write heading classification of organic compound. Now, kids, what you are going to do, you are not going to chat में है कोई उसमें Zoom chat में. We are now. I am going to draw a table here, kind of. But what you are going to do, you are going to write like a notes. Okay, you're not going to draw this thing which I'm going to draw here. So first, you will write organic compound. What is the definition? Containing what? Carbon. Okay. And now it is divided into two main parts. The organic compounds divided into two main. So you're not gonna draw this thing. You will write in the next line. Organic compound definition is containing carbon. Then in next line, you write they are divided into two main parts. They are divided into two main parts or two main categories. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. They are divided into two main parts or two main categories. Number one, hydrocarbons. Now, the organic compounds which contain carbon and hydrogen only. Contain carbon and hydrogen only. Now look at this. For example, CH4 is a hydrocarbon, C2H6 is a hydrocarbon, C3H6 is a hydrocarbon. I hope you understand. Compound is always consisting of more than two elements. Now, so when the two elements are only carbon and hydrogen, no other element, oxygen or anything, this is called hydrocarbon. Okay? They are not all organic compounds. They are the one of the part of the organic compound. Mostly students think they are all organic compounds. Next line, they are divided into two parts. They are divided into two parts. Number one, yes, saturated hydrocarbons. Number one heading, saturated hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbons which contain, you have to write like this, the hydrocarbons which contain carbon-carbon single covalent bond. The hydrocarbons which contain carbon-carbon single covalent bond, for example, alkane. This is a whole group of organic compounds which are saturated hydrocarbons.
सर इसको थोड़ा सा जूम आउट कर देंगे.
Again, I'm saying, I hope you understand what I'm saying. You don't have to draw this, okay? You just keep writing like notes, okay? So saturated hydrocarbons, the hydrocarbons which contain carbon and hydrocarbons which contain the organic compounds which contain carbon and hydrogen only, and then the saturated which contain carbon-carbon, single covalent bonds, and the example, the group alkane, right? So please write down, alkane is not the name of a compound, it is a group of compound. It is group of organic compounds which are saturated. Number 2, unsaturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons. I write HCS, mean hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons means what? Which contain? Yes, which contain the hydrocarbons. You have to write full line. The hydrocarbons which contain carbon-carbon double or carbon-carbon triple covalent bond. In our syllabus, we have only carbon-carbon double covalent bond, okay? An example is a whole group known as alkenes. Another group of organic compound, alkenes. So I hope you got it. Organic compound is the one that contains, look at this. For example, like I just gave you an example. Look at this. Here are the examples of organic compounds. Anyone that contains carbon is organic. And out of those ones, what about the first 4? They are also known as what? Hydrocarbons, because they contain carbon and hydrogen only. But the ones which are down, they are others. Others mean they are not hydrocarbons. Why not hydrocarbons? Because I can see other than carbon and hydrogen, another element. What is that? Oxygen. That's why they are not hydrocarbons. Okay. So what others are? Look, coming down. Now, this is entirely for me. You are not going to write it. If I write them others here, don't write it. So others must have, along with carbon, hydrogen, there must be what? Oxygen attached with it, right? Or along with carbon, hydrogen, another element could be oxygen with nitrogen. There are the 3 famous examples. One of them are known as alcohols. You might have heard about them. The alcohols we use. Esters, carboxylic acids. Okay. And then for this, I hope you know about them, proteins, right? So I just wanted to give you an idea. These are the organic compounds which we are going to discuss, right? So you can just write them that the other than hydrocarbon, which the organic compound which contain another element like oxygen and nitrogen, their examples are alcohols, esters, carboxylic acids, and proteins. Okay, just to give you an idea, please write down. Other than hydrocarbons, if an element oxygen is present with carbon, hydrogen, the examples are alcohols, esters, carboxylic acids. And if carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen is present, the examples are proteins.
सर आप वो अनसैचुरेटेड HCl समझा देंगे?
जी, I'll explain. Others means carbon, hydrogen with one more element, like oxygen and nitrogen. With oxygen, they are alcohols, esters, and carboxylic acid. And for carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, they must be proteins. Did you get it? Okay, next. Is it clear now? Okay, unsaturated mean, again, I'm explaining. You will see the organic compounds written like this. If you see a long carbon chain without any carbon-carbon double bond and only two elements in here, like this, you will say it's an hydrocarbon. And as there is no double bond, so it's a saturated hydrocarbon. But if you see the similar compound with similar number of atoms, apparently looking the similar compound, but I see one of the carbon carrying double bond or two of the carbons carrying double bond. So I'll understand this is what? This is unsaturated. I hope you understand. These two are the hydrocarbons, but the second one is unsaturated and the first one is saturated. On what basis I'm saying? Because of this carbon-carbon double bond, I'm saying it is unsaturated. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
let's start.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is also the syllabus for the organic. We have to study alkanes, then we'll study alkenes, then we'll go to alcohols, ester, carboxylic acid, and the last we are going to study proteins. So this is what we are going to study. These are all organic compounds in our syllabus. Okay, now you know the classification, you know the definitions of these, and now we are going to start with the first group, alkane. So please give a heading, alkane. As we all know, this is a one group of organic compounds, and organic compounds, let me repeat myself, they're not in hundreds or thousands, they're millions of organic compounds, right? Millions and millions. The first group, alkane, is it a hydrocarbon? Yes. Is it a saturated? Yes. Every organic compound, now listen everyone, is actually represented with a general formula, which is going to tell us what is the ratio of carbon and hydrogen in case of alkane between that. For example, look, if the Jenner formula for alkane is CnH2n plus 2. What does it mean? Now, let me zoom in. This says that a carbon, if number is n, hydrogen number will be what? 2n plus 2. Yani in any hydrocarbon, whatever the number of carbon is, hydrogen's number will be twice and then two more. That'll be an alkane. For example, let's say if I have the simplest member of the group is the one that contains the least number of carbon atoms. And what is the least number? Obviously 1. So let me write the molecular formula of first member of alkane, C1. If C1, look at the general formula, how many hydrogen is going to have? One's double is what? And then add two more. So the first member compound of the alkane is C1H4. One we usually don't write. You always don't write. So the first member's molecular formula is what? CH4. The second member, C2. Double is what? 4 and then two more. C2H6. This is the second member of alkane group. Member mean compound, member compound. Third member compound, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8, C9, C10. So are you wondering, does it continue? Yes, it does continue. Up to 70, 80, 90, they continue. For example, the petroleum jelly, wax we use, that's more than 70 carbon. The road carpeting, the black charcoal which we use, more than 80 carbon. So it does continue. Okay? So these are the member compounds of a group. Group name is what? Alkane. And the alkanes group has carbon and hydrogen, and the ratio of carbon and hydrogen now we got to know, and we can determine the molecular formula. Now, the next thing you have to write, please write displayed formula. What do you have to write? Displayed formula. In organic, once you write the molecular formula, although you got to know the total number, for example, if I look at this, this is the molecular formula of a compound which is an alkane having C4H10, but I don't know how these 4 carbons are attached and where these 10 hydrogens are attached. When they ask you to draw the displayed formula, they ask you to draw all the carbon and hydrogen, showing how they are bonded together. I have already given you an idea. Whatever the number of carbons are there, what you have to do? You have to put them in a carbon chain. How many carbons are here? For example, I'm going to draw the displayed formula for this compound. How many carbons? So I've just made a 4 carbon chain. And what is this line between the carbon atoms? It's a covalent bond. The chain is covalent bond between 2 carbons. But as I said before, every carbon has to make how many bonds? 4. So in order to complete 4 bonds, you have to attach hydrogen with every carbon. Let's attach the hydrogen. How many hydrogen with the first one? First one.
3.
How many with the second one? How many with the third one? Why? Because these carbons have already made 2 bonds, so 2 more valences we have to fill. And what about the last one?
3.
Okay. And then this is called what formula? Displayed, the fully displayed, showing all the bonds and everything present in this molecule. And then you have also another type known as structural formula. What is that?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, like for CH4, इसका एक specific नाम है methane. So what
No,
would
no,
be the
naming.
name?
I'll just give me a time. I'm gonna come to the naming. Okay. Just what about this C4H10? Now the structural formula. Once you write the structural formula, you don't display the bonds. Look, you just put them together. How many hydrogens with 1 carbon? So I'm gonna write CH3. How many hydrogens with the second one? I'm gonna write CH2. How many with the third one? I'm gonna write CH2. No bonds, okay? Just putting carbon and hydrogens together. How many with the last one? This is also the way of writing it. And as Manoj said, if you come to the naming of organic compound, let me tell you, is a very complex phenomenon, bacho. It has been very, very difficult times to name the organic compound. Okay? Initially, when they started by just 2 minutes. So initially, the organic compounds, their names were given on the basis of 2 things. Listen, everyone. What 2 things? Number 1, how many carbon atoms and what group it belongs to. Right? That was the just simple division which they used to do. Right? I have a very less time, so I don't want to open that thing away. But this is a one homework, excuse me. Everyone, you have to make this table. In your notebook, you can either rotate is 90 degree if you don't find enough space on your notebook. So you can rotate it up to 90 degree and then use the two pages right in front of each other to draw all these from 1 to 10. You have to draw the molecular, displayed, and structural formula just like this as I did here. Okay, so you'll put the lines here like this. That's your homework. Sir Zishan, can you just put it on the WhatsApp group that this is the homework, complete this table, and this is the homework, okay? And from tomorrow, we are going to record your homeworks. Pehle ka there'll be no structural, na? Displayed will be like this, and there'll be no structural. Okay? Structure will be like this. Okay? Thank you. Allah Hafiz.